They told the world I was mentally unstable. But 7 years later, I exposed the truth on live TV. I came back to the town on a grey morning, the kind of morning where the sky feels heavy and low, like it's pressing down on your chest. The bus stopped near the old road, and for a moment, I didn't move. I just sat there, listening to the engine cool down, breathing slowly, reminding myself that I was really here. 7 years. The road looked smaller than I remembered. The paint on the shops was faded, and some places were closed, their signs broken or hanging loose. But the smell was the same: dust, wet earth, and something sweet from the fields nearby. It felt like the town had been waiting, frozen in time, while my life had burned and rebuilt itself far away. As I walked, I felt eyes on me. Some people recognized me. Others only sensed that I didn't belong anymore. I kept my head down, my hands in my pockets, like I used to do when I was trying not to disappear. Then I saw her. Sarah stood at the old farm stand near the bend in the road. Wooden crates were stacked in front of her, filled with red apples. The same stand we once used to sit behind, hiding from the sun, laughing about nothing. Her hair was tied back loosely, a few strands falling across her face. She looked older, but not in a bad way. Just tired. Like life had asked too much of her. I stopped walking. For a second, she didn't notice me. She was arranging apples, careful and slow. Then she looked up. Her eyes widened. Her hands froze mid-air. The smile she tried to form didn't quite work, as if her face forgot how. "It's you," she said softly. "Yeah," I replied. My voice sounded strange to my own ears. "It's me." She stared like she was seeing a ghost. "Didn't think you'd ever come back." "I didn't think I'd survive long enough to," I said, half honest, half bitter. The words hung between us. This town knew me for one thing now. Not for my work. Not for who I really was. They knew me as the unstable one. My parents had made sure of that. They told neighbors, relatives, friends. They said I had problems, that I was dangerous to myself, that I lost my mind one day and ran away. No one ever asked me. No one ever waited for my side. Sarah knew something was wrong back then. I could see it in her eyes. She always did. But she never asked too many questions, and I never pushed her. Not before she vanished from my life without a word. I looked around the stand, the empty road, the quiet fields. Everything felt familiar and distant at the same time. "Are you okay now?" she asked carefully. I nodded slowly. I had to be. What I didn't say was this: I didn't come back for peace. I came back because the truth was done running. We sat on the old wooden bench behind the farm stand, the same one we used to share years ago. The wood was rough now, cracked by sun and rain, but it held our weight like it remembered us. The wind moved gently through the fields, brushing the tall grass back and forth. Somewhere in the distance, a dog barked, then went quiet. For a long moment, neither of us spoke. Sarah kept her eyes on the ground. She rubbed her hands together, over and over, as if trying to warm them. I watched her and felt that old tight feeling in my chest, the one that came whenever something important was about to be said but wasn't. "You look better," she said at last. Her voice was careful, like she was walking on thin ice. "I had to get better," I replied. "No one was going to do it for me." She nodded, but her shoulders stiffened. I could tell she wanted to ask more. I could also tell she was afraid of the answers. The silence pulled me back in time. 7 years ago, I was standing in my parents' living room. My father's voice was loud. My mother was crying, telling me I needed help. A man in a white coat sat across from me, watching without really seeing me. Papers were passed around. Words like unstable and confused floated in the air. I tried to speak, but every time I opened my mouth, someone spoke louder. Then everything went dark. "Do you remember the night I left?" I asked. Sarah's fingers tightened. "I remember," she said, but she didn't look at me. "I waited," I continued. 4 days. Then weeks. I called you until my phone stopped working. I went to your place. You were gone. My throat burned. You never came back. Not even a message. She inhaled sharply. I saw her jaw tremble. "I wasn't allowed," she whispered. The words hit harder than I expected. "Allowed by who?" I asked. She looked up then, and quickly away again. Her eyes were glassy. There was fear in them. Real fear. The kind that doesn't fade with time. I knew then that this wasn't just about us breaking apart. Something else had been controlling the story. Everyone thought I ran away, I said quietly. They thought I was sick. My parents made sure of that. Sarah's breathing grew uneven. She stood up suddenly, pacing a few steps before stopping. Her back was to me now. They told me things, she said. Things I didn't want to believe. Like what? I asked. She didn't answer. The wind picked up, carrying the smell of apples and earth. I felt the weight of 7 silent years pressing between us. She was hiding something. And whatever it was, it had shaped both our lives. Sarah stood with her back to me for a long time. Her shoulders rose and fell as if she was fighting something inside her. Then she slowly turned around. Tears filled her eyes, but she didn't wipe them away. Your parents came to me, she finally said. My heart dropped, even though I already felt the truth coming. They came the night after you were taken away, she continued. They said you weren't well. They said you were dangerous. Not to others, but to yourself. Her voice cracked. They showed me papers. Medical reports. They said a doctor proved it. I clenched my fists. Those papers were fake, I said quietly. I know that now, she whispered. But back then, I was scared. They told me if I stayed close to you, I'd make things worse. They said loving you would push you deeper. She stepped closer, her hand shaking. They took your phone. They blocked every number. Every letter I wrote came back unopened. They told me you didn't want to see me. The air felt heavy. Every word filled in a missing piece of my life. So you disappeared, I said. She nodded, tears spilling now. I thought I was protecting you. I closed my eyes. For 7 years, I believed I was abandoned because I wasn't worth staying for. Because I was broken. That line nearly destroyed me. That night, I remembered standing alone in a small rented room, watching rain slide down the window. I remembered rebuilding myself quietly, step by step, while my parents told the world I had lost my mind. Sarah's voice pulled me back. I'm sorry, she said. I should have fought harder. I did enough fighting for all of us, I replied softly. Days later, I stood under bright studio lights in another city. Cameras surrounded me. The audience clapped as my name was announced. My heart pounded, not from fear, but from calm. 7 years of silence had led me here. When I held the award, it felt heavier than metal. It held every sleepless night, every lie, every time I was called unstable. I looked straight into the camera. For 7 years, I said, my parents told everyone I was mentally unstable. They said I was broken. They said I disappeared because I couldn't face life. The room went quiet. The truth is, I continued, I was pushed out, silenced, and still, I rebuilt myself. Back in the town, televisions glowed in dark rooms. My parents watched. They saw the applause. They heard the truth. They saw the proof they could never erase. And for the first time in my life, the lie died in front of everyone, and I finally stood whole.